is in the building. Troop.
We're in the building on Tuesday the 7th, Election Day. Cold Election Day.
Yeah.
Don't let the cold stop you, folks.
Yeah.
Don't let it stop.
So one thing we can talk about the election before we get into this tough love story. Dante Comparetto.
Go on, Dante.
I think he's gonna win.
I think Dante's going to win. I think Dante's needed to.
Yep.
I think Dante's going to bring a whole new way of looking at the public school system here in Worcester. The people on the board in there, you're too old.
Really? You think they're too old?
I think they're too old. They're very nice people and stuff like that, but they're too old.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost touch with the new scientific age that's here, and I think that needs a refreshing, because the only one who suffers is the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying that they're too old. Not because they had their time and some did good and some didn't, but right now as this world churns, they're not able to keep up.
Right.
So it's time for them to take a lesser role in helping develop the educational system for these kids.
Yeah.
I think Dante's going to bring a new perspective in there. He's going to bring freshness in there, and he's right in line with what's going on with today's society.
Well, let me tell you why I think he's gonna win. Two things.
Mm-hmm.
He's the biggest fundraiser. He's raised more money than anyone else on the school committee, and he spent more money than anyone else on the school committee in his campaign. He is really working hard to get elected, and I think it would be a great story, a rags to riches story, for Dante Comparetto to win. So good luck to you, Dante. I will be voting for you today.
Yeah, go on,
You definitely have my vote for the school committee.
Yay, Dante.
Let's see. Making his first run for school committee, Dante Comparetto was not just the highest fundraiser and spender this campaign season, but he outraised and outspent all 6 of his incumbent opponents combined.
Yeah.
According to a campaign finance records. Yep. Mr. Comparetto brought in $45,316 since the start of the year. He stated in a campaign finance report he submitted to the city on October 30th. That was in addition to the $7,836 he had left over from 2016. He spent nearly all of it, $45,548, on dozens of itemized expenses, from leaflets and signs to interns he had working on his campaign. The rest of the school committee field, in comparison, raised a combined $17,351 over roughly the same period, and $10,563. 2 of those candidates, longtime school committee members Jack Foley and Brian O'Connell, contributed almost nothing to those totals. Mr. Foley raised $10 and spent $288, and Mr. O'Connell raised and spent nothing. Zero. Nothing on the line for their campaign finance filing.
I like O'Connell too.
Yep.
I like O'Connell.
Yeah, I do.
But I like him, and that's on a personal note and stuff like that, because he did the program that you and I wanted to bring in, and we still might bring that in, the essay contest for some of the students, not AP students, folks, just average, everyday knuckleheads that are finding out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
An essay contest with a cash thing that Will and I were putting up the cash thing and doing most of the work for and stuff. He took it to the school committee.
Yeah.
And I had to applaud him for that, because he didn't have to do that, but he stepped right up. He thought it's a great idea, and he took it to the school committee. And Joe Early, the mayor, laughed at
Joe
it.
Petty. Yep.
Joe Petty, yeah. Joe Petty, the other mayor,
yep.
laughed at it.
He did.
He laughed at it. Shame on you, Joe Petty.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
So let's see if that does come into fruition. If that does, but Dante Comparetto, a lot is coming into fruition for him. He is getting things done now.
I'm glad.
For the school committee.
Be Festus.
Yep, I think he's going to win today.
I hope he wins too.
He put in enough work. If he didn't, it had to be the most disappointing Tuesday of the election.
I would agree, because that all that does is show that the people, you get what you vote for.
Yep.
You're only voting for somebody because you say they're a nice person and you know them. You're not voting because they've done anything to show you that they're going to bring the educational system of Worcester into the future.
Mm-hmm.
So you get what you paid for, you know?
Yep.
That's what you want. That's what you get.
And that's exactly, hopefully, what he gets. He gets, hopefully, Dante, with all the work that he puts in, he gets himself ready and able to win on election day today.
I think you do well.
Really quickly, as I'm going over my notes and going over the websites that I pulled up for stories, we did mention this a little bit earlier, but we didn't really talk about it too much, so we'll just talk briefly about it. Saudi Arabia calls missile launch an act of war by Iran and vows retaliation. Vows retaliation. Now, there's one thing where you say, hey, if you do this, I'm going to do this. There's one thing about empty threats. It's another thing to say we are going to retaliate for something that's already happened. Are they under war right now, Troop?
I think they've been under war forever. One's Persian and one's Arabian.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they might be under war. They just might be under war, and where's the United States going to stand? Where are you going to stand? We can't saber rattle with a bunch of people who pull out their sabers on election day.
Yeah.
So it's like saber rattling's out. It's like, where are you going to stand on the world theater?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, so we might be going to war right now. Dante Comparetto is spending his money and he's ready to win, and we both are voting for him. Truth, I think that might be the only person we agree on voting for. Are you?
Besides Sarai.
Oh yes. Well, we can't vote for Sarai because we're not in her district. So,
I know, but I'm moving, Sarai. I'm moving.
Yes, please vote for Sarai. We would love to hear people vote for Sarai.
Yeah, I like Sarai. She's not just because she's a nice person and everything. I think Sarai looks out for the people in her district.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot.
All right, so let's get into this tough love. Oh wait, another quick news note before we continue on. Worcester police find Shrewsbury man. A Shrewsbury man was missing. They were sharing his picture all over Facebook. People from Florida were sharing his Facebook photo because he was missing. A Shrewsbury man missing since Saturday afternoon will be able to celebrate his 70th birthday with his family after Worcester police found him Monday morning walking on Union Street near Lincoln Square. David LaJoy left his home at 4 p.m. Saturday to do what he often does. Walk down North Quinsigamond Avenue to visit a Dunkin' Donuts in White City, Shrewsbury. Mm-hmm. At 7 p.m., he had not returned home. His family called the police. Police aided the search by dogs and from as far away as Petersham. Looked for him for more than a day and half before Worcester police found him at 11 a.m. on Monday. If the Worcester police sergeant who found Mr. LaJoy said he appeared to be in good condition, he was dressed warmly and was able to identify himself. He still had a tape measure from a home hooked to his pocket. Police said he was taken to an area hospital as a precaution. Tyler LaJoy, Mr. LaJoy's son, was nearly overwhelmed with emotion after hearing his father had been found. He said his father was tired, but still himself, maintaining his sense of humor throughout the ordeal. I can't understand how a guy would walk around Worcester, spend 36 hours or whatever, and still be that, he said. Mr. LaJoy briefly thanked everyone who helped find his father and followed up with a message on Facebook. Should this guy be locked up, Troop?
Cool.
the LaJoy Sr., who was missing for a day.
Why would you want to lock him up?
Listen, he can't be wandering out and having searches for him every couple of days, right?
Oh, you don't mean locked up. You mean should his freedoms be restricted?
Yes.
No, but I think that now that you know his habits, and you probably knew his habits anyways, that they should look at his habits. To me, it's like, why are they going to a whole other county first and bringing out the dogs and all these things? It's like, stop trying to sensationalize everything, and just sometimes things happen because that's happening. Obviously, the guy has some kind of spatial and time difficulty in stuff. So on his way to Dunkin' Donuts or leaving Dunkin' Donuts, somehow he got turned around.
A texter says he is so much like my dad. My dad did this 10 years ago, but in a car. I'm so glad your dad is safe and that he has a caring family.
Oh, I agree 100% with that.
If they care, they would put an alarm on him so if he did get lost. Yep, put a tracker on him.
I would put a tracker on him because it sounds like, I don't know which one of the Alzheimer type of diseases that he has, but I know that disease a little bit, and if he's going to Dunkin' Donuts from point A to point B, and then something cuts off in the middle, and he goes around it, he's out of his spatial time orientation. You know, he doesn't know how to get back in.
Right.
So he'll just wander around.
Yep.
You know? And this happens more than not, but a lot of people wander around, and then they might see somebody or something, and then that'll bring them back in, and they might say, oh yeah, they'd say, oh yeah, you just live right up there, and they'll walk up there.
Well, I'm glad this story had a happy ending and a good ending.
I'm glad too, but you know, it does bring about something too, that we don't need to sensationalize everything. To police. I don't know why you're bringing out dogs. You're going to different counties and stuff like that instead of just looking at the facts of what the illness is that this guy has.
Right.
Obviously, he's walking. He's not flying an airplane.
Nope.
So he's not going too far.
Nope, he's
not.
not.
You know, set your perimeter up and then expand on it. Not expand on it and then bring it in. You were going about it in the wrong way.
Yep, he was.
That's what I think anyway. But.
All right. So now it is time we go from the old to the young.
To the young people.
The young people where we need to...
Stone them.
They need to be stoned. No, let me stop. Oh, wait, before we even get into this, let's talk about them kids on those bikes. I saw a video of the kids running a red light. This is over by Main Street. The light was red. They pulled up to the red light and then just started going while the light was still red. And then when the light turned green, one of the kids on the bikes turned around and started riding towards the drivers, who were then proceeding to go through the red light, through the green light, and then swerved off. I know a lot of people are saying that these kids should not be arrested, and their kids will be kids, and the kids need a place to play and everything.
They need a place.
They need to stone them. They need to be. Those kids that are running out in traffic like that need to be arrested. True.
They need. They don't need to be arrested. They need to be educated. They need to be educated, and like I said before, why don't we just get some trucks or something like that? Put these kids on the trucks and introduce them to some kind of biking habit and stuff, and some in the woods, so they can do mountain biking, or make better bike trails for them to ride on and stuff. Just kids are gonna act up.
A lot.
Yeah, so they got all this adrenaline, but if you show love to these kids and show them that, hey, this is an exciting way to go break your arm. Come on, let me show you. You know, and they're not harming anybody else by swerving at them and stuff. You know, it's a tricky situation, but stoning them, maybe not. Maybe not.
Stone them. I still say true. Listen, I am a driver, and I am afraid that one day I might take some knucklehead's life for driving into traffic like a fool trying to get an adrenaline rush. Yeah. I should not be the victim of an adrenaline rush.
I agree 100%. Nor should I be the victim of it. But don't do it in front of me.
Right. Put them in jail.
I don't think putting them in jail and stuff like that. But they have to be. they're fearless at that age.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big problem. How do you combat fearlessness?
Right. Oh, I know how you combat fearlessness
Okay.
by getting a jolt of a wake up call when one kid ends up dying for riding like that. This is what's going to happen.
The kid becomes a martyr. Then he doesn't become a wake up call to your to the adrenaline rush that you get and that fearlessness. He becomes a martyr when they have their first funeral and everybody rides their bikes to the funeral. That's what happens.
He's going to become a wake up call that something's going to have to be done to enforce these laws more about these kids on these bikes.
Then something will be done about enforcing the law.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that'll be a hard thing. How do you enforce a law on riding the bikes?
I'll tell you how. 2 kids got arrested this weekend.
Right.
You know why? Riding in a parking garage,
Yeah.
riding towards people. Guess what? One of them had a knife on them, and they were both wearing masks.
Yeah.
What the hell do you need to wear a mask for riding in bikes unless you know you're going to be doing something you're not supposed to be doing?
Well, they did that. They were trespassing. They knew they were.
Yep.
They knew that they were breaking the law.
And they got arrested.
And they got arrested.
Applaud that. Throw those little bastards in jail. I'm so happy.
You so happy with that?
Yes. Children need it. Teenagers especially. I don't know why we have, I believe the children are our future. I agree they are our future. But that does not mean that they are absolved from the law.
No, exactly true. I agree 100%. They are not to be absolved from the law. If you break the law, you pay the consequences. But what they're doing in the street, riding their bike and stuff like this, they're a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they are. They're a nuisance, and it's like, how do you control a nuisance? This is the problem. This is a big problem.
Yes, it is.
And like I said, my idea with that is get some flatbed trucks, put them on the trucks, take them out there in them woods and let them ride bikes down the hill, break up all their arms and legs.
I'm all for that too.
You know,
but guess what happens when they break their arms and their legs? Their parents are going to come and want to sue the truck people for bringing them out there and letting them do it. This is a catch-22 truth.
It is.
Stone them.
Stone. Yeah, I think I still like mine better than stone them, but if all else fails,
stone them. Tough Love program aims to support youths accused of family violence while protecting victims. Let me explain. Right, yes.
You stole them for riding bikes now?
Yes, stole them.
Tough love.
A first in the state pilot program aims to keep youths accused of domestic violence out of the criminal justice system and to help their families get services to stay safe at home. Unlike adult domestic violence cases, which typically involve violence against spouses, partners, boyfriends, or girlfriends, around 3/4 of cases in which a juvenile faces a domestic violence charges involve violence by a child against a parent or sibling, according to Carol Erskine, First Justice of Worcester Juvenile Court. A $23,000 grant awarded to the city from the Office of the Commissioner of Probation pays for a case manager at the Worcester Courthouse employed by U Inc. to immediately assess what Judge Erskine termed family chaos cases. The case manager determines whether it's safe for the accused youth to return home and then helps get services such as therapy in place to prevent future outbursts. True.
Stone them.
Stone them. There are such things as bad kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes the bad kids have to face their responsibilities.
Really?
They have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
We want to give youth passes on, they're just youth. They're just youth. I don't care. You already got their things that they do as youths sealed after they become an adult, don't you?
Yeah. But see, that's the whole thing that the kids now, I wouldn't want to be a kid today.
Why not?
They're boring.
They can do whatever they want. They got little gadgets attached to them.
Yeah, they got gadgets. They do all kinds of things that are boring. It's all boring to me. This is a boring little juvenile type of existence that they have. Then they go home in their houses, and I don't know what their houses are like, and then they have violence in the house.
Yep.
How do you lose that much control in your house?
Oh, it's easy because in our day, and in my day especially, your parents were able to whoop your behind. If you acted up in front of my mother and father, you would be in a world of hurt.
That's right.
Now, we live in an age where if you touch your kids, oh, that's abuse. You get arrested. You go to jail. You lose custody of your kids. You can't do anything. You can't discipline your kids anymore. So these kids walk around with an attitude and think that they can talk to you any way they want, and then want to ride out in the street on their bicycles towards cars coming at them, and then face no, oh, let's not arrest them. We don't want to discipline kids for anything anymore. We don't want to arrest them. We don't want to spank them. We don't want to do anything to hold them accountable for their actions. Now, if they go and beat up members of their family households, we're going to try to make it so they can go back and not have anything to worry about. This is insanity, True.
Really? There's a whole bunch of this stuff like this. And one of the things I would suggest to people and stuff, start disciplining your kids when they're born. You know, I mean,
oh yeah.
Start the disciplinary action when they're toddlers.
Yep.
When they're little itty bitty crumb snatchers off the table.
Right.
You stop. When you say no, make your no.
Right. Don't be beating your kids because they're crying. They're babies. They're supposed to cry. Don't be beating the infants.
You get that love when the love is due, but when they're acting up and everything for their own safety, you got to discipline. The kid don't want to be disciplined behind it at all.
Right.
And don't be afraid if your kid looks you in the face with the big crocodile tears and says, "I hate you." Say, "Thank you. I'm doing my job.
Right.
You're supposed to hate me because I told you you can't do something."
Yep. I've had 2 daughters told me that they've hated me within the past 6 months, and I'm cool with both of them now. Even my older daughter.
Yeah.
We went to her graduation, talked to her, love her. She called me yesterday. We had a long talk. Everything's copacetic with us now. But before then, I was the worst human being on planet Earth to both of them.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, but
you beating the child and stuff. If they need a smack on their behind, give them one. That's your behind.
Well, I don't know if that's good advice because you can get someone arrested for doing that now.
Don't kill them. Don't kick them. Don't smash their little heads into walls and stuff. But if they need a whomp on the butt, give them one.
So I've tried to cut back on spanking my kids and everything, right?
Yeah.
I did. I cut back on it, and then I had an in-home therapist come over, right? And I put my kid in timeout in front of her. And I said, go in the corner and stand in timeout. Do you know that they told me that putting them in timeout was too harsh?
Too harsh?
Yeah. Having a kid stand in the corner. I didn't know I was like, oh, I can't even put my kid in. So what am I supposed to do when my child looks me in my face and curses at me, or looks me in my face and gives me the middle finger? What am I supposed to do? Just tell them I love them and let them continue to do what they want? This is a serious question. How are we supposed to discipline our kids today? How are we supposed to teach the kids that doing anything is wrong? This is just like the bike thing. The bicycle thing. Oh no, don't arrest the kids. Oh no, just give them something else. Give them what they want. That sounds like a holdup. Give them what they want.
That sounds real bad to me. I can't say I'm the best person to talk about how to raise children and stuff like this. 2 of my kids came out good. One dead because of drugs.
Well, you can bring them to the water, Troop. You can't make them drink.
No.
You can only teach them you can teach them what's right from wrong and give them the understanding of right from wrong. But God don't force his kids to do anything. We can't force them to do right or wrong.
I taught him all. I mean, Alex, he was always a good kid too. 6 months before he even died, he jumped on a guy and gave him CPR and stuff like this here, you know?
Yeah.
While he was still trying to go find his heroin. He took time out of his heroin search to give CPR to an elderly gentleman, save his life, and then go on about his business to get his heroin.
Yeah.
But that's what he does. To raise a kid, it's huge. And you just can't do it by yourself.
Right.
But you can't do it by letting the kid be the one orchestrating how the punishments are going to go or how his life. You know, he gets the right to choose his life, but you get the right to direct it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not directing that choice of where they're going, then don't be upset when they don't turn out to what you want.
Right.
You know, even you know, hard as you try, it still might fail.
So that's why you got to say that you were a good parent, because all you can do as a good parent is just tell them what's right, what's the way to go, and what's the way not to go. I feel like I've told my kids what's right from wrong up to this point.
You're a great parent.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I enjoy staying in the studio after on Wednesday just to enjoy all the love that's surrounded in this house. And that's another thing that if you got a house that ain't got love surrounding it, then get it.
Yeah.
Get that love, because you're doomed.
Right.
You're doomed.
But my concern, Troop, is that if there is a revolt in my house, and usually with parents, your children do try to revolt at least twice during you raising them. Now, I'm talking about two serious revolts, like, I am not going to listen to you. You're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah, get that.
I can't do it. There's nothing. My hands are tied by the law.
The law, I think, is out of control.
Yes.
I blame that on Kennedy.
You blame it on John F. Kennedy?
John F. Kennedy, because he couldn't shut up Jacqueline, so he made social services and put her in charge.
Wow.
Look what we got. We got a whole bunch of little girls from suburbia coming down in the city talking about how to raise a city child. It's like you don't even know how to comb their hair.
Mm-hmm.
They were like talking about how to raise them.
Yep.
You don't know anything about them.
Right.
Yeah, and you can go to school and you can learn all the Marxism you want to and all these social programs, and you can learn about reciprocities and all this stuff like this. But then again, you come back into the city where and you can't even comb their hair.
Right. And you were right with the social aspect, True. These social justice warriors are the reason why we can't do anything to our kids anymore, why we can't even hit on a woman anymore. If I say, hey, I think you're attractive, oh my gosh, that's harassment. You can't do anything to anyone for anything. I just want to put myself in a glass cube, a glass bubble, and not interact with anybody, because I'm afraid any interaction I have with any human being is going to result in me being a hater, a rapist, a misogynist, a abuser, a violent person, an evil person, a sadistic person. You just can't do anything without being labeled by social justice warriors now.
Yeah, but I don't give a damn. Social justice warriors.
Stone them. Stone them.
Don't care nothing about them.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead, this is your time, going out there and touchy-feely the world all up and everything. I already lived through that.
Yep.
We put flowers all over people and stuff and smoked the residue. Yeah.
So we're really going to focus on services to keep kids out of the court, she said. Children have to be released to the custody of someone, and we're sending the alleged perpetrator to live with the victim. She said that in adult domestic violence cases, the judge can order the alleged abuser out of the home. It's very different and requires a completely different analysis than it does in the district court with the relationship violence. So, if my daughter ever was violent with anyone in this house, and let's say she hit my wife, and a couple times it's come to that, and she never did, but it's come close, I don't know if I would let her back in my house.
But that's your prerogative.
Yep.
That's your prerogative. But you can't get upset about what the results are going to be.
Yeah. Oh no, I would let her. So I would let her back in my house, but it wouldn't be on some like, oh, the day after. Oh yeah, since we're the parents, come back in the house. I'd be like, no, I want her to go to jail. I want her to know what that behavior is going to do to her in the future.
Exactly. That's the way I would do something. It's like, this is the consequences for your actions.
Right.
Not that you're going to get a big bowl of sugar.
Yep.
No.
Youth don't get consequences anymore.
No, and they don't. And comparing them to an adult situation, which may because I heard half of a commercial. I don't even know what it was about and stuff. But the end was in this commercial. It said, You knew I was a snake when you brought me into your house. That's domestic violence on an adult thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you bring the snake into your house, don't get upset if it bites you.
Right. Yep.
But with your child, that's not applicable. It does. You're raising the child.
Mm-hmm.
So are you raising a snake? Then don't be upset if that bites you. But if you're getting in a relationship with somebody, you know what that person's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that relationship to the furthest end and bring it home and everything, and it bites you, don't get upset.
Nope.
Don't get upset.
Well, all right.
Stone it. Stone them.
It is 10:58, which means it is coming to the end of Truth in the AM. We're going to have to head over on down to Main Street to the WCUW headquarters.
Yeah.
So we can record at the studio. 91.3 FM, Voice of the Voiceless.
And
coming on right after Mongo Time with Rosie and Chuck.
Yeah, and we're going to stay focused on the politics.
Yeah, focus on the election. The 7 things.
Call in if you want to. Text if you want to.
Yep.
Give your opinion. Give your voice on the politics. This is your last chance for 2 years.
Yep.
Get it out there. But come through the door down on Main Street to the studio itself. Form lines to come in and voice your opinion on the air to the other people out there about what you want your city to look like. Because after today, it's 2 years before you get to make a change. And the changes in the city are going fast. I don't think a lot of you residents will still be here in 2 years. Yeah, so come on down to the studio, WCUW.
Yeah.
Or just listen in on 91.3. And most of all, folks, when you're out there, if you haven't voted yet, or when you're going out there to vote and everything, vote your conscience, not your heart. Just because you think they're a nice person or they wear good clothes or some other thing, don't just make that why you vote for the person. If you think they're a person with integrity, you think they're a person with some form of intelligence, you think they're a person who has your best interest at heart, now cast that vote upon the water. Other than that, don't vote for them because their shoes are shined.
Right.
Or, nah.
Okay, so we will let you guys go now, and we will be back for Voice of the Voiceless at 12 o'clock on WCUW 91.3.
Yeah.
It is your boy, Truth It. I'll holler.
This is Trooper Joe, and I'm telling everybody to go have that fun.
All right.